Periods of economic uncertainty often feel profoundly unsettling. It's not necessarily because conditions are clearly bad, but rather because they are profoundly unclear. This ambiguity makes planning incredibly difficult, divides opinions, and seems to silence confident explanations. For many, the most uncomfortable aspect of uncertainty is the struggle to discern what information or guidance to trust. This video aims to demystify why uncertainty naturally increases during economic transitions. We will explore why this uncertainty is often a fundamental feature of change itself, rather than a sign of systemic failure. Understanding this dynamic is crucial for anyone seeking to make informed decisions in a complex world. This video is designed to help you understand why uncertainty rises during economic transitions, even when there is no obvious crisis. We will provide an analytical framework to interpret these periods. Our goal is to equip you with the knowledge to navigate these shifts more effectively. By the end of this video, you will understand why clarity often declines during periods of significant economic change. You will also grasp why experts and data may appear less confident or even contradictory. Ultimately, you will learn how to remain more grounded and thoughtful when economic narratives feel unsettled, enabling better decision-making. This discussion is not about predicting specific outcomes or offering investment advice. It is not intended to generate alarm or fear. Instead, it focuses on understanding the underlying mechanisms of economic uncertainty, making these periods feel less alarming and more manageable for everyone from individual investors to policymakers. An economic transition is a dynamic period where established conditions are gradually fading and new conditions are simultaneously forming. It represents a fundamental shift in the underlying structure or behavior of an economy. These transitions are often driven by significant forces. During these periods, previous assumptions about market behavior, consumer preferences, or policy effectiveness begin to weaken. The models and frameworks that once provided reliable predictions may no longer hold true. This erosion of past certainties creates a vacuum. Crucially, new patterns are not yet fully established or clearly discernible. The emerging trends are often nascent, fragmented, and lack the consistency needed for confident analysis. This makes it challenging to project future trajectories. Consequently, signals from various economic indicators often overlap and conflict. Some data points might still reflect the old regime, while others hint at the new, creating a confusing mosaic. This environment inherently reduces clarity. Therefore, uncertainty during these times is not necessarily evidence of an impending collapse or a broken system. More often, it is evidence of a necessary and ongoing adjustment process. Economies are complex adaptive systems, and adjustment is a natural part of their evolution. Certainty in economic analysis tends to exist most readily at two distinct points in time. The first is when economic systems are clearly stable, operating within well-understood parameters. The second is when outcomes are already visible and confirmed. When systems are stable, economic models perform well, and historical data provides reliable benchmarks. Businesses can plan with greater confidence, and investors can assess risk more accurately. Policymakers can implement interventions with a clearer understanding of potential impacts. Similarly, once an economic event has fully unfolded, its outcomes become visible and quantifiable. We can then analyze the past with perfect clarity, understanding cause and effect. This retrospective certainty is valuable for learning, but it offers little guidance for real-time decision-making. Transitions, however, sit squarely in between these two states. They are the messy, evolving middle ground where neither past stability nor future clarity fully applies. This intermediate phase presents unique challenges for all stakeholders. In these middle periods, economic data is inherently incomplete or contradictory. The full picture has not yet emerged, and what data exists may be subject to revision. This makes real-time interpretation difficult. Furthermore, behavior, whether of consumers, businesses, or financial markets, is still actively changing and adapting. These behavioral shifts introduce new variables that are hard to model or predict. Established patterns of response may no longer hold. Consequently, cause and effect become significantly harder to trace and attribute. The complex interplay of multiple evolving factors obscures direct relationships. This makes confident conclusions difficult, even for the most experienced observers and analysts. Economic data, by its very nature, is largely designed to measure and reflect the past. It captures what has already occurred, often with a significant time lag. This inherent characteristic creates friction during periods of rapid economic transition. Transitions, conversely, are fundamentally about the present actively becoming the future. They are about dynamic shifts occurring in real time, often faster than traditional data collection methods can accurately capture. This mismatch in temporal focus is a key source of perceived unreliability. During these periods, some economic indicators may still strongly reflect the old, fading conditions. For example, unemployment rates might lag improvements in business sentiment. These indicators can give a false sense of continuity or stability. Simultaneously, other indicators begin to reflect the new, emerging conditions. These might include novel metrics, alternative data sources, or early-stage trends in specific sectors. They offer glimpses of the future, but are often not yet robust enough to form a complete picture. The result is a barrage of mixed signals, creating confusion and making it difficult to discern a clear direction. This isn't because the data itself has failed or is inherently flawed. Rather, it is a natural consequence of significant change being actively underway, making the economic landscape inherently complex and multifaceted. During periods of relative economic stability, there tends to be a greater degree of consensus among experts. Established theories and predictable patterns allow for more aligned interpretations and forecasts. This provides a sense of intellectual coherence. However, during transitions, this consensus often breaks down, and disagreement among experts increases significantly. This divergence is not a sign of incompetence, but rather a reflection of the inherent complexity and ambiguity of the situation. It highlights the limitations of any single perspective. One primary reason for this divergence is that different experts naturally focus on different indicators or aspects of the economy. A monetary policy expert might prioritize inflation and interest rates, while a labor economist focuses on employment trends. Each perspective offers valuable but incomplete insights. Furthermore, different time horizons matter more to various experts. A short-term market strategist might focus on quarterly earnings and immediate market sentiment, while a structural economist considers long-term demographic shifts or technological disruptions. Their conclusions will naturally differ based on their temporal lens. Finally, different experts may identify and prioritize different risks. Some might see inflation as the paramount threat, while others are more concerned about recession, geopolitical instability, or systemic financial risk. These differing risk assessments lead to varied policy recommendations and investment strategies. This increased disagreement, therefore, does not imply a failure of expertise. Instead, it reflects the multifaceted nature of economic transitions, where multiple valid interpretations can coexist. Understanding this helps individuals and organizations critically evaluate diverse viewpoints. Humans are inherently wired to seek certainty and predictability in their environment. This psychological predisposition is a fundamental aspect of our cognitive processing. We strive to create coherent narratives and frameworks to understand the world around us. When this certainty is missing, particularly in critical areas like personal finance or business prospects, anxiety naturally increases. The absence of clear answers can trigger stress responses, making individuals feel vulnerable and exposed. This emotional state can impair rational decision-making. In such environments, narratives that offer simple, clear-cut explanations, even if oversimplified or inaccurate, become incredibly appealing. People gravitate towards voices that promise definitive answers, even when the situation is inherently complex. This can lead to the amplification of extreme views. This is why economic transitions often produce a surge in strong opinions and confident, often contradictory, predictions. The human need for certainty drives the creation and consumption of these narratives. Emotional reactions can overshadow objective analysis. Understanding this fundamental human response is crucial for maintaining perspective during uncertain times. Recognizing our own psychological biases helps to reduce their influence on our decision-making. It allows for a more grounded and thoughtful approach. Economic uncertainty rarely remains an abstract concept. It quickly translates into tangible concerns that affect daily life and future planning. This direct impact is why it often feels deeply personal to individuals, investors, and business owners alike. The stakes are real and immediate. People begin to grapple with fundamental questions that directly impact their financial well-being and strategic choices. Should I wait to make a significant purchase or investment, or should I act now? Is this current economic turbulence a temporary blip, or does it signal a lasting shift? Crucially, individuals and organizations question which of their long-held assumptions still apply in this evolving landscape. The erosion of these foundational beliefs can be disorienting. This reevaluation impacts everything from career choices to business expansion plans. Because these questions directly affect real decisions with significant consequences, economic uncertainty feels intensely personal, not merely an academic exercise. The emotional weight associated with these choices is entirely normal and understandable. Acknowledging this emotional component is the first step toward managing it effectively. History provides a powerful lens through which to understand current economic uncertainty. It consistently shows that periods of heightened ambiguity and flux often precede the formation of new stability. Economic evolution is rarely a smooth, linear progression. Economic transitions rarely announce themselves with clear, unambiguous signals. They do not arrive with a definitive start and end date. Instead, they unfold gradually, often imperceptibly at first, with overlapping signals and significant delays in confirmation. This makes real-time identification challenging. Consider past industrial revolutions, major technological shifts, or significant policy reforms. Each brought a period of disorientation before new economic frameworks, new norms, and renewed clarity eventually emerged. The interim period was characterized by significant uncertainty. Periods of uncertainty, therefore, are not anomalies, but rather a recurring feature of economic development. They often precede the establishment of new paradigms, new market structures, and new ways of doing business. Understanding this historical pattern can provide a sense of perspective and resilience. Instead of asking the often frustrating question, when will things become clear again? A more helpful and productive approach is to reframe our inquiry. A more insightful question is, what aspects of the economy are still adjusting, and what has already fundamentally changed? This shifts the focus from passive waiting to active observation. This reframing transforms uncertainty from an immediate threat into an observable process. It encourages an analytical mindset, prompting us to identify the moving parts and the emerging structures. This perspective fosters a sense of agency rather than helplessness. Recognizing uncertainty as a process implies that it takes time to unfold and resolve. Just as a caterpillar undergoes a complex metamorphosis to become a butterfly, economies undergo intricate transformations. These processes are inherently dynamic and require patience and continuous adaptation. By adopting this calmer, process-oriented view, individuals, investors, business owners, and policymakers can approach economic transitions with greater equanimity. It allows for more thoughtful analysis and more resilient decision-making, even when the path ahead remains obscured. This series exists precisely because uncertainty is an inherent and increasing feature of our modern economic landscape. Our aim is not to eliminate uncertainty, which is an impossible task, but rather to make it more understandable and, consequently, easier to live with. We strive to provide tools for intellectual resilience. Understanding the underlying systems and dynamics that drive economic change does not magically remove uncertainty. The future will always hold elements of the unknown. However, a deeper comprehension of these mechanisms significantly reduces the anxiety associated with it. By providing an analytical framework, we empower you to interpret economic signals more effectively, evaluate expert opinions critically, and make more grounded decisions. This knowledge fosters a sense of control and confidence, even when the broader environment feels unpredictable. Our goal is to cultivate informed engagement rather than passive reaction. You now understand that uncertainty naturally increases during economic transitions for several key reasons. Old economic systems and established conditions are actively fading, losing their predictive power. Simultaneously, new patterns and behaviors are not yet fully established, making it difficult to discern clear trends. Furthermore, traditional economic data and observed behaviors are temporarily misaligned, creating conflicting signals and making accurate real-time assessment challenging. This inherent friction contributes significantly to the pervasive sense of ambiguity. Crucially, this uncertainty is not a failure of the system or a sign of impending doom. Instead, it is often a clear indication that a significant and necessary adjustment process is actively underway. Economies are dynamic, and change is a constant. With this enhanced understanding, periods of economic uncertainty can be approached more calmly, thoughtfully, and strategically. You are now better equipped to navigate these complex times, making more informed decisions in your personal finance, business planning, and investment strategies. Please like this video if you have enjoyed it. Every one of your likes encourages us to continue creating helpful content. Thank you for watching and have a blessed day.